My name is Lee. Pronouns, they, them is good. That's a vibe for today. He or she is fine. I'm pretty chill. I want to do this. No one is watching. That's okay. Alright, let me do a few things. Welcome. I have a different pen than usual. I always say that pens are the most important world building tool, because if you don't have a pen and you have a really good idea, you don't write it down, then you don't have a good idea anymore. And we are living by that. So we I want to explain something crazy today. So I All right. Let's do it. So we are live in our Sorry, I am very easily distracted. So today's Warhammer 40k. Yeah, it's Warhammer 40k. And last time we did Warhammer 40k, we did a so I rolled along an origin path for Zyle. And yeah, I rolled up Zyle. And so he has a very different skill set than what's he only with 29? That's sorry. Oh yeah, Zyle. We haven't rolled a name for this other one yet. Hang on. Zyle was the other one. Sorry. What was I going to say? So we created this whole thing wherein we I rolled up. Been rolling up all these characters, etc., etc. And then, okay, so we got Zyle's planet, which is a death world that we're going to create. We got Odette's home ship. We could do another character. We also was going to have to roll up a gear list and a little bit of a history for this other guy, who we never actually rolled up name or gender for, so that's fun. So here's what we're going to do. You know, we're going to do someone who grew up on a hive world, the same hive world as Janthine, because I got nearly the exact same run down the origin path as Janthine. So, I mean, all the way up into Fortune, being there until it took a tilt at the end. So I'm thinking, which I know is not entirely... Okay, that's the Experitus Primus. I got that going. I got Odette. And we have Janthine's over here. Yeah, I got Viseria. So I'm thinking because we got all of the same ones, we're going to put, having been press ganged by someone else. That is to say, they both got press ganged, but this other guy. Okay, we need to roll. The first thing we need to do is roll. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna roll with this. We're gonna roll with was from the same orphanage. Xanthine was from, grew up there, and then got press ganged, ditched at the same time for similar reasons, except not for being in love. Maybe for being in love. That might be a whole factor. We'll see who. And then ditched around the same time, got press ganged into the same gig, and then got changed course and got press ganged by someone else instead, and get shunted through the Mechanicus track the way Xanthine did, because she's not as smart. She has a fellowship of 47, though. That's really high. So we're going to do something with that. But first thing I'm going to do is pull up my, whatchamajig. I'm going to pull up my chart first. This chart. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Ah, yes, this is why I set this like this, so I can do that. Sorry. Always put your dice to the highest side up, that way they get good mojo. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, but it's worth doing. Okay, so we got that one and this one. Alright, we got those two. I'm going to roll the D100 as per protocol. We're going to roll up this D100 and we're going to see what we get. So my face is kind of disgusting, I'm not going to lie. That's okay. I could tell you a funny story about the doctor's office today and how I got asked if I was male or female, and I was presenting as very femme. No makeup, but, you know, 2 earrings, flowy silhouette, hair in the braid, boobs out, you know. Not out, like I wasn't showing cleavage, but I wasn't binding. And the whole shebang. And I was dressed in a way that they got, you know, kind of accentuated by the cut of the fabric, just the shape, and all of that jazz. So I'm, you know, the flowy silhouette and the long hair and the 2 earring, I'm like, very femme. So I get asked, male or female. I'm like, okay. I appreciated them asking, you know, as an MB, I do appreciate it. I'm like, but I said, you know, is there any other choice? Because the reason I presented it, I took so much care in presenting femme, even though I didn't do my makeup, was because I had to present 3 forms of ID to be able to do this, which is fine. I presented those 3 forms of ID, and all okay. Social security number matches up to female on the registry, and the passport says female on it. The male is just confirming address, and that it has to be like an official, like, bank statement or something. That one does not say male or female on it. It just says that I owe a large sum of money to PayPal, which I paid electronically. So I still had the form for the bill. But, actually, I don't know if I actually paid that. I should probably go double check that. But, more to the point, sorry. Yeah, more to the point, when they asked, I was like, I mean, I appreciated them asking and not just assuming I was female. Vaguely, and if I had been presenting as mask, it would have been kind of comforting to, you know that they actually didn't just, it didn't go straight over their heads that I wasn't a woman, because sometimes that happens. A lot of the time, actually, that happens, actually, and I always ask people why, and then they get uncomfortable and change the subject and or don't hear me because they don't enunciate or something. Like, no one will ever give me a straight answer on why. But, here's the thing. They said there was no other option, and I'm like, you know, legally I'm female. I'm presenting as femme. Do you really think, you know, like, and if you put it as male in your record and the legal says female, like, what's your, it's not going to match. You realize that's a problem, right? Like, it just seemed like you want 3 forms of ID, the ID, 2 of them have gender attached. You got to go with the one that matches with that, you know what I mean? If you're not going to offer a third option, especially, like, you know? Which I get, if I were a closeted trans guy, it would help. It would have made me feel a lot better. But, you know. That is my take. Like, you know? Alright. But I am putting this up because I wanted to roll for gender and sexuality for this individual who we have here, who, and then that's why Jansen got suckered onto this ship, is because she was, met an old friend. That's why ended up on the Rogue Trader ship. Yeah, now we're coming up with backstory. I like backstory. Okay. 61. Straight. Barely straight, but straight. So, like, hetero flexible. Oh, we didn't roll for sex. So, cishet, but we don't know which variety. Let's... Ooh, actually. Depending on how we roll... Okay, I'm going to use this D10 right here. Hi. Oh, hi. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Lee. You probably know kind of they, them vibe today, but he or she is fine. Welcome to my chat. Usually we have some fun people. Today it's just you. That's okay. I'm rolling for gender and sexuality. I rolled a 61, so barely straight, and we got a 1 male. Yes, this is the. Okay, so. Okay, I should offer a little context. I've been rolling for Warhammer 40k. It's a tabletop RPG. Okay, Warhammer 40k is a universe based on a tabletop strategy game, but they created an RPG based on the universe, which is super cool, called Rogue Trader. I play it actually in the D&D Character Ideas server on Saturday mornings. But, and this is the important part. You ready? It is... I've been rolling up random characters using their origin path theory. And I rolled up 2 characters, and they have almost the exact same path. The origin path kind of covers home planet and why they, home planet. Well, okay, let me look at this, see what it is. So it's home planet, where they grew up, what was their main occupation when they were young adults, why they ended up in the void in the first place, built-in tragic backstory, and and what's their main motivation. And then at the bottom, it's career path, and you have to go in a line. I assume you have to go in a line up the chart. So there's limited options depending on what you pick, and you can go from the bottom if you want to know what your career path. It's kind of like class in D&D. It gives you a number of special abilities. You want to know what your career path is, or you can go from the top if you want to know where you come from. And you can zigzag your way down by choosing, and get from any of the homeworlds to any of the career paths. Or you can do what I did, which was roll randomly. But I rolled a d6 for the top one, for a homeworld, and then rolled a d3 randomly going down, and or did evens odds when I got to the edge, so that I could kind of, have a randomly generated character, which would then, I could then fill in the backstory based on randomness. But, the first character I did like this was Janthine. I actually rolled randomly for the name, too. Fun fact. Let's put the chart away. So I rolled for gender and sexuality, I rolled for name, she was a straight girl, I rolled for the name Janthine. I have a name chart. I have one male, I have male, and I have... The book has a, example charts for names, so I rolled randomly for names, because I've been, doing these characters, a lot of it completely randomly. For the Pathfinder First Edition characters, which are more D&D-like, which I do on days that aren't Tuesday and Thursday, I've been trying to, I've been coming up with a name, either, picking it myself or crowdsourcing it to the chat. But these ones, since we have a random table to roll on, I was just like, let's roll randomly, because we're doing this, completely random. For those, I'll usually, pick a class, and then roll for a number of levels, and then, then roll for stats in order. And then if the stats suggest a multi-class, then I'll roll for what the multi-class split is, but not what the class is. I've picked those. But for these ones, because it has the origin path, I've just been rolling randomly along the origin path to see what I get. And I've put them all on this whole I'm putting together a crew on a ship that I'm trying to, as I create each character, I'm trying to flesh out what their backstory relationship is, what the, oh, this one? Yeah, here we go. Origin path. Um, yeah. So it comes with the Rogue Trader book. I screenshotted the PDF version of the book and put it up here because I can't figure out how to get the screen sharing to work right, so that's what we've got right now. But at least not without also hiding my face, and I don't want to do that. So, what? I guess I could, but what, yeah, so because it had this whole flowchart thing built in, and it does offer, it says at GM's discretion you can have a non-contiguous one, so it doesn't have to go through the chart directly. But it suggests only allowing that for players who have well-versed in the lore of Warhammer 40k, which is a lot of lore. A lot. But I've been putting out these random characters and, rolling them along, and I rolled Janthine up, and then I rolled up this other guy, because he's a straight guy, because we rolled that. So, straight guy, let me just pull the chart down so I can see. Yeah, so I rolled up that based on that. Yeah, there is a lot of lore. I kind of think the strategy game is cool, but I don't really like the strategy aspect of it. Like, I love the lore. I fell in love with the universe because of the lore, because how much there was and how cool it all was. But I really don't like strategy. I'm not good at it. I don't vibe with it. And I just kind of... And so when I found out that Fantasy Flight Games had created this whole real RPG, like honestly, this role-playing, more of a role-playing thing going, I jumped on that. Unfortunately, they lost the license in 2017, so they stopped actually publishing the game. So getting copies is difficult. But, I'll just say that much, because legal reasons. But, it's possible. You just have to, work your way through it. You can't buy it directly from the publisher, is what I'll say. Yeah, so I fell in love with the lore, so I started playing this Rogue Trader, which was, I was like, when I realized that there was a real deal, RP-heavy game version that went with this, I jumped on it, and I've been playing Rogue Trader, and I kind of want to share that on stream and do the cool stuff with character creation. So, I've been, doing that, but I rolled in the origin chart, because they gave that whole chart thing, and I rolled up two characters with pretty much identical, down to them both being straight. I mean, one was male, one was female, and one ended up with Archmilitant and one Voidmaster, but every other roll I made ended up the same, which is possible, just highly improbable. I mean, if I started calculating the odds, it starts with 1/6, and then it's 1/6 times 1/3, so that's 1/18, and that's another 3 and 3 for those two, that's 9, so that's 9 times 18 is 1 in 18, 1 in 9 times 18, and then 3 is, alright, I'm curious now, so I'm going to actually do the thing. I'm going to get a calculator, and we're going to math this out. So it's 3 times 6 times, it's 9, because there are 3 and 3 for that one, times 3, times 3. So it's a 1 in 162 chance. That's less than 1%. 1/162th chance of getting the same for all those rolls. Factor in the straight is 65 out of 100, that's, hang on. I can't, that's 162, ready? I can do a little bit more math. Just morbid curiosity. Calculator. 162 times 100 is 16,200. So it's 16,200. Clear. So it's 65 divided by 16200. 0.004. So a 0.4% chance of this happening. Yeah, I'm gonna make it as I'm gonna make them as the same planet. So I spent another episode stream, I guess. I don't know if episode is the right word for these things. Although I am putting them all on YouTube if anyone wants to listen to my insane ramblings. That's Odette. Who's the other arch militant? And then we have Genthine. So instead of an explorator, we ended up with a void master. So I'm gonna. Yeah, I know it's incredibly low chance. So my grand plan is to make them from the same planet. And I'm going to roll randomly for a name. I like rolling randomly because random rolls are fun. And I get all these beautiful shiny click-clack math rocks that I like to use occasionally. So I tend to do random rolls whenever I can. That's just me though. Here, I try to put them all to the highest side up to get good mojo. I don't know if it works, but we'll see. Yeah, 12, yep, and 10 percentiles, and okay. We're gonna use it's a 0. We're gonna push you back here, put you up to 0, 0, and then push you back. Our plan, my plan, rather, is to. All right, so I create an empty space that can be seen on camera. Now I bring up the chart, and it is a percentile. The entirety of the you can't see it anyway. The entirety of Warhammer 40k runs on D5s, which are half of D10s, and actual D10s, and percentile die. That's it. Like, it's only D10s. It is a thing. So we're gonna roll a D100. I'm gonna roll the same two, same combo I did before, which are these two. Shiny click-clack math rock, shiny click-clack math rocks. Here we go. That is 21. So now I look on the chart. Here, I'll even... here, move that there. I don't know if it's not good at seeing, but... 21. Let me look on the chart. 19 through 24. I'm gonna go with Harmon. Yeah. Harmon. That is a name for that. And he might have been the guy that... So, because he's straight and she is straight. You got a boy and a girl. They're both straight. I mean, I feel like Avril Lavigne said it best. You can lean into it. I mean, they don't necessarily have... They can be just friends, but... Given that we're putting it all together... in a fated, chaotic way, might be interesting. So Harmon comes and, is Harmon. I have to write out his equipment list. So I'm going to do that. And then I was thinking world building, unless you really want me to do another character, because I'm always down for getting distracted by chat, even if chat is only one person, basically. But what I can do is go to the Seneschal, gaining skill, skill master, skill. We're gonna go to Void Master. Here we go. What I have so far for world building is I have the planet of Visseria, which is this big hive world. It was settled originally. It was had habitable but no intelligent life that didn't get murdered by humans. So maybe there was, but they all got murdered anyway. So then it was settled in the Dark Age of technology with a lot of these big hives that were built into the ocean because there was very little usable land. And also fossil fuels were extracted to help the process, and that caused the ocean level to rise. So all of the city that was on land got sunken under. And it was just these big spires that eventually got kept being built onto, jutting above the water. One of whom is, which is the Torres Vitalis, is this huge island with this cliff, and they have this really intensive crop that works well with vertical farming that provides, I think it's what, I think they grow 60% of their food on planet, which for a hive world is incredibly impressive. And they just have, and they have these big algae farms too, that are kind of like hicks. There's like a handful of people who live out on these huge algae farms. They're kind of considered to be the sticks, and then they got ferries that go back and forth. And they have the richest people live above the water line, so you can have balconies. And balcony culture is a huge middle class thing. If you can get, that's a sign of prosperity. If you can get a balcony apartment facing outward, as opposed to interior space where you don't get windows. And then if you're really, really rich, you have land on the top of the tower spires that go down into the ocean. And if you're only somewhat rich, you have these parks that you can own membership in, so you kind of have a little bit of that. It's a whole status symbol, is access to outdoors because of the way the cities are built, which is kind of a whole thing on Hive Worlds. But there's just that, and there's this huge expanse of water, and these big city towers. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And if you live low enough down, it constantly gets flooded. If you live below the water level, living below the water level is kind of like living on the wrong side of the tracks. It's poverty. The richer you are, the higher up you live. And so if you live below the water level, that's ugly. And if you live far enough below the water level, the pumps don't always work, so you're constantly dealing with floods. And then if you live deep down enough, it's just underwater half the time, and you're just it's a whole thing. That's an entire, Underhive have their own shady dealings that go on down there with sketch stuff. What was I going to say? But they have all these big, from the Dark Age of Technology, archaeological dig sites from the Dark Age of Technology that the Mechanicus is always trying to get to, except they're underwater, so archaeological digs underwater is kind of difficult. But then Janthine ran away from the orphanage where she was raised because she got Child of the Creed as her origin chart thing. She was raised in a religious order orphanage to revere the Emperor, as you do. But was kind of a free thinker and ran away from there for a guy, actually. I had thought of that. And I had originally thought that maybe he was on the outside, but now that I've got... Yeah, oh, absolutely. But now that I got Harmon, and he also has the exact same origin path, I'm thinking he was the guy that ran away with her. Or he had a crush on her and she had a crush on someone else, so he ran with her anyway. That might be an interesting... Although love triangles are a little cliche. But they both ran away and got dragged into helping the Mechanicus work on one of these dig sites. She got press gang into Mechanicus because she's really smart. She has a higher than average intelligence. And he got press ganged by probably into being working for one of the ships that the Mechanicus was using. They probably just needed workers, and they probably just pressed him into service on the ship, which happens occasionally. Quite often. In fact, I think it's legal in certain cases. If you're Inquisition or Rogue Trader, you can just take anyone and make them work on your ship, and it's perfectly legal because reasons. But and then he worked his way up the ranks and that while she was busy being part of the Mechanicus, and they heard about this ship that had a ancient device from the Dark Age of technology on it. They sent her to investigate. She meets up with her old childhood sweetheart, and they are both on this ship. And along with Odette and Zael, and probably some others as well. What I was going to do, though, was write up an equipment list for Herman, because he's a Void Master. We need, let's see. Sorry, I like reading quotes from this book. It's, why would I want to stay on the ground? It makes me restless. I'm at home on the deck of a ship facing the starry black. Throne, everything else makes me feel like I'm a sitting target. That's a quote from Corman Garrus, Master of Ordnance aboard the Triumph of St. Drusus. Void Master, or Mistress, is a term used to describe one who has risen to master one or more of the mysterious arts of running a space-going vessel. They've generally served in a myriad of stations and have been exceptionally fortunate in that their skills have been recognized and they have allowed to progress through the ranks to the very top. A Void Master knows every inch of his vessel. Even the cold touch of the airless void presents little fear, for he has faced the terrors of space countless times. That's a thought. So, what was I? Oh, yes. I bump up the skills. Bump up, no. I'm going to bump the fellowship by 5, because we're pouring all of the skills into fellowship, so that'll bring me up to 50. And, okay. That's good. Oh, yeah, very much. Here, I'll keep reading, because they're huge it's a very distinctive style that the Warhammer 40k writers tend to use, but it's pretty cool. In character and attitude, they are as varied as the ships on which they have served. Some are dour and proper officers, the products of the finest naval bloodlines, while others are born traitors and rakish rogues out of the Chartist ships. Others still are, by inclination, smugglers, scavengers, and even pirates. No matter their origins, however, one thing unites them all: the consummate skill in doing what they do best, and the high price and respect their services can earn them. The Imperium of Mankind is an interstellar empire spanning much of the galaxy, its worlds, systems, and sectors linked by countless warp routes and divided by unutterable gulfs and savage storms of unreality beyond. Vast fleets of military, mercantile, and exploratory spacecraft knit together this great realm, and some of these ships are as large and densely packed with human life as many terrestrial cities. But even among those who spend their lives protected by steel-skinned ships out in the cold darkness, Void Masters are a rare breed. To become a Void Master, an individual must have risen above those around him, and have distinguished himself by a particular talent and ability. Regardless of background, whether his origins be bile scum or a scion of a lauded hero, a Void Master must earn his title, for it marks a man or a woman who can be trusted to hold the lives of many in his hands. The Void Master might be a helmsman, master gunner, or warden of the ship's sensors, but whichever position he holds, he controls the vessel's systems as if they were an extension of his own body, and, in a crisis, the ship's survival depends on his skills. While the average subject of the Imperium might be blissfully ignorant or rampantly superstitious about space travel, the people who undertake it, those such as Void Masters, quite often are equally puzzled by those who confine themselves to the worlds below them. Why, they ask, would any human surrender himself to the servility and imprisonment of planet-bound life when the dark majesty of space awaits those with the courage to voyage upon its endless tides. Whew, sorry. Yeah, that's a whole thing. They just... everyone has a whole list like that. So, found solace working the ship, and now they're back together, and complications are ensuing, and I am... mostly did that so I could... oh, yes, because there's a whole mission... special abilities. Oh, each... I should write these down. Arch-Militant. Explorator. May up to 2 additional common craftsmanship bionic implants. The Explorer may increase the craftsmanship twice, and may only do so at character creations. Other times, okay. So the Explorer has all of these crazy implants. The rogue traders get an exceptional leader, can give any ally as a free action plus 10 to any one test. It's kind of like Bardic Inspiration. Yeah, it's kind of, well, usually the captain is a rogue trader, although I suppose you could put the captain as a Void Master. Generally, you've got Void Masters, who are the epic space heroes. You got Navigators, who have the third eye and can navigate the warp. You've got Telepaths and Astropaths, who can do psychic things. You got Arch-Militants, who are the army specialists. We already got 2 of those. Explorators, who know the tech and are the Warcan of Mars. And then Seneschals, who do all the behind-the-scenes bookkeeping and skullduggery. And, oh, okay. We get a special ability. Select one of the following. Mastery of Space. The Void Master can reroll a failed test with maneuver actions aboard a spaceship. Master of Gunnery. Void Master can reroll all failed tests with shooting actions aboard a starship. Master of Augurs. Void Master can reroll all failed tests involving detection aboard a starship. Master of Small Crafts. Void Master can reroll all pilot tests with small crafts. The only thing about... So I have to pick one of them. I mean, I kind of just let our Void Master in the game I run reroll all piloting tests, because he said that's how the rules worked, and I am. But I have to figure out what special talent. I'm thinking Master of... You know what? We're going to go with Master... You know what? We're going to roll for it. Right? More shiny click-clack math rocks, more chaos, more... So, let me get a D4 out. I'm going to label them 1 through 4, with Master of Space being 1, Master of Smallcraft being 4, and I'm going to roll... What's a good D4? This one. No, you know what? This one. I like this set. That one. We haven't rolled any of these yet. I'm going to roll that D4. That one right there. I'm going to do it. Ready? Boom, ba, ba, brrr, shiny, click. This one right here. Alright, shiny, click, clack, math rock, deploy, and boom. Okay, that's... I didn't even look. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Boom. 1. Okay. Yes, the blue one. 1 is Master of Space. Okay, so I'm going to write this down. Special ability. You only get 1 reroll, though. And you can use a fate point to reroll on any test. So I guess you could reroll it and then use a fate point to reroll it the second time. But if you failed it, which he has 4. Did I roll fate points first? Oh, 2 for Zyle. All maneuver checks on spacecraft, on ship. I forgot to put down the special abilities for, arch militants get one and only one class of weapon, and you get a +10 bonus to hit, +2 to damage, and +2 to initiative when using your chosen weapon. I think we wrote... Well, no, Janthine, I think I had this written down that she used. Because Odette... Oh, no, Odette was... Machete, yeah. So, favored weapon is blade. Is bladed melee. So anytime she wields any kind of knife, she gets a +10 to hit, +2 to damage, +2 to initiative, because that's pretty cool. Howdred, the one arch militant in the game I'm running, used a bolter for his, and that was quite a bit. And then I need to... Zael also needs a... I'm gonna say... you know what? It's gonna sound really crazy, but... I don't know, what should Zael's primitive favored weapon be? That's an important question, because I need to figure out for Zael what his weapon of choice is, and then, because that leads his special ability, and then Explorador's special ability, because I forgot to write these down for all of these, the characters I created. Oh, and then there's missionaries, but they don't... Oh, the Explorador especially is just getting all the implants, and I already wrote down that I had all the implants, so that's fine. But, what is Zael's weapon of choice? Knives or... I'll figure it out eventually. With special ability, and we got all of this. So that's... Maybe I should start with Zael's homeworld. Well, I was going to write down equipment. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. I was going to write down the equipment list for and talents for Harmon and for Zael, both straight guys, and then we could let me oh hey, we got a new friend viewing. Sorry, I got a viewer count and I'm very excited when it goes up. Say hi in the chat if you want or not. But what I was thinking was I could do the equipment lists. Sorry, yeah, that's what we'll play. We'll play at equipment list, and then we can have shenanigans ensuing. All right, yeah. Ships, basically the way the ships work is, if you're trying to maneuver a ship, you roll your own, you roll a piloting, I believe it's piloting and or navigation void, depending on what you're trying to do. And then, for maneuver abilities, and then the ships, you get your ship's maneuverability as a bonus to that roll. So that's the deal with ships. They don't do the origin path rolls. There's a different set of stats for ships. They have, what do they have? Legion Empire. That's Land Hands with Paladin ability. Forget. Here we go. For example, the Express Primus has a crew of 26,000 actually, so the size of a small city. Yes, but it's got a speed. It's got a plus detection. So if you want to view something with the augers, you add the ship's detection to your own perception bonus, and then you roll against that, modified by whatever other GM, things you got. And then the space is how much interior room it has, which changes what kind of things it can have. It has 2 dorsal weapons and 2 turrets, so and a hull integrity, which represents armor. So if ship-to-ship battle rolls is a completely different set. But basically what you're doing is, when you do a ship-to-ship battle, you're rolling with the ship's, you're using your own skill. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. What was this? How big was it? 1.6 kilometers long and 0.3 kilometers a beam. So, yeah, these ships are huge. This is a huge, like a small town-sized ship. They have, like, whole doctors and surgeons. It's an intensive, it's a small city, and it's got a crew of thousands. Well, yeah, I mean, some of the bigger ships, this one's a mid-sized ship, but some of the bigger ones have crews of a couple 100,000. Especially like a Imperial Navy cruiser, or, Imperial, from the Imperial Navy, that would probably be at least 100,000. These are why, why they press gang people so much is because they need so many people to make the ships work properly. But still have to figure out what Xyl's home planet is. Oh, but what I was going to do, sorry, I keep getting very distracted, which is not a bad thing. That's kind of the point of these streams, is just kind of vibe and do cool stuff. That's that one. Okay, special abilities. But Void Master. What I was going to go back is do the what is my equipment and skills. Well, here we go. Starting skills and equipment and that's style. Okay. Yes. Here, let me block off the space for it. That was to do, let's see. Skills. So we get starting skills is common lore, Imperial Navy, war, forbidden lore. Ooh, we get that's an intelligence. Forbidden lore, Xenos. We got speak language, low Gothic. That's pretty much the basic common tongue of the Imperium. It has a lot of variations on it. So imagine putting someone from rural Alabama and someone from northern Scotland and someone from, say, Australia, all in a room together. And then maybe throwing someone from South Africa, too. Yeah, they'd be speaking the same language. They'd all be speaking English, but they'd have difficult, not impossible. They'd be able to communicate because they all speak English, but it'd be very difficult to do so because they have all the local flavors. It's that times 10 low Gothic, and also int. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be a test on how well you speak low Gothic, but scholastic lore is astronomy. And navigation stellar. Which is int, and then pilot is agility. Spacecraft or flyers. And then another common lore of my choice because of the press ganging thing. I don't know what common lore skill, though, I should take. Let's see what we could do. Skills. Base skills, advanced skills. Common lore. And then I go to skill descriptions and figure out what are, let's see if there's a command. Common lore, here we go. Adeptus Arbites, Adeptus Mechanicus, Adeptus Ministratum, Ecclesiarchy, Imperial Creed, Imperial Guard, Imperial Navy, Imperium, Chronos Expanse, Navis Nobilite, Rogue Traders. You know what? That's probably tech or war. No, I don't know. Common lore, Navis Nobilite, probably. Yeah, let's go with that. Probably knows more about the navigators by having served along with. Yeah, because high fellowship, that would make sense, wouldn't it? You serve aboard the ship long enough, you probably know more about navigators than anyone. Get that. +1 skill with no prereqs. And +1 skill with no prereqs. So one more skill with no prerequisites that I would say charm. Yeah, okay. Which is fellowship. That's int, and then charm is fellowship, which is, I feel like he should have at least one fellowship related skill because his fellowship is his big thing. He just is like a people person. That is the entirety of his skill set is people person skills, and he doesn't even have a single, fellowship based skill, which is kind of like the equivalent of charisma. It's used for all the, people person skills. And he has really high fellowship. Not so good on the toughness, though. So probably just as well. Yeah, always have a face character. I tend to play bards with expertise in persuasion and or deception, depending on the bard. But, yeah, one or both of those, because that is I like being face character. I'm not gonna lie. Flint was the epitome of face. And then they were in the party with these two idiot barbarians, two low-int barbarians, and... No. one low-int monk, one low-int barbarian. And we were just, you know, beating people up for money, essentially. Although, yeah. But that was the game that Void, what's his name on that? Yeah, I'm just gonna check. Because one of our, yeah, Void. He goes by Void on that server, too. Yeah, I'm playing a bard and, dusting off an old bard character for his campaign. Oh, right, so we have these skills. We have face character, who learned a lot about starships and how to deal with them. Pretty decent, half decent intelligence. Then we have, I always felt like he had a different name on our server, but I guess he doesn't. All the talents and +1 to initiative. Tech int as an untrained oh yeah. No penalty for running through crowds. Speak. Oh yes. Low Gothic. Also Hive dialect is a secondary. Yes. Unshakable faith. Talent and enemy ecclesiarchy. Yes, the church do not like him. Okay. Oh yeah, and minus 10 to all survival checks. And minus 10 to all intelligence-based checks while out of doors. Because if you don't have a proper hab, you don't do well in the great outdoors if you grew up in a city where you never ever saw the sun. Basically, the outdoors you do not vibe with outdoors, so you just generally have a penalty for anything involving the outdoors. It's part of what you get from your thing. Yes, that, and then equipment is gonna do equipment because yeah, pretty much. Oh right, it's this one. So equipment is, if we go back up to Void Master, I can just do this thing. Void Masters. Starting skills, starting talents. Oh, right. Also pistol weapon training. Universal. And melee weapon training and nerves of steel. Nerves of steel. Okay, then equipment would be so I could get a mono sword, which is the sword with the a singular molecular edge, or I could get a best craftsmanship mono sword or a common craftsmanship power sword, which is just a it has it's kind of like a lightsaber actually. It has it powers up, but it only is common craftsmanship, meaning it's not best quality. Then we can do what else? Best craftsmanship hand cannon or common craftsmanship bolt. Ooh, that's a tough call. Guard flak armor. That one's not a choice, so we'll start with that. Guard flak armor. Micro bead, obviously. Void suit. Ooh, a blessed ship token. A rebreather, always handy. Imperial Navy uniform or a beggar's cloak. I'm going with beggar's cloak. And 2 bottles of AMSAC. Picked a quarter and a Vox caster. So basically you start with a camera. Alright, I'll go with monosword. Best craftsmanship monosword. And then we need a bolt. You know, hand cannon is useful, but like a bolt pistol, because both pistols. Like there's a song that is, where's the thing? Bolt gun on his hip, which is the tune of Big Iron on his hip. Bolt gun, Mars gold gun, no one escapes the Ember's Quizter with the bolt gun on his hip. Yeah, it's a pretty cool song. Okay, so you got all of that. That's actually pretty cool. Now we should probably do the same for Xyle, because I didn't do that yet. But also, Xyle has a whole home planet that I haven't figured out yet. And Odette has a home ship that she was born and raised on, some ship. Maybe... That's interesting. Question is Odette straight? I think they all have been so far. It's only a 65% chance that they end up as straight because, yeah. But it does tend to, straight woman, yeah. So, if, yeah, it's, I said it, it's a little lower than, I would say it's a little bit lower than what is in our world. And I put, let me look at what I put. Hang on. Chart 1, here we go. And I definitely put, like, Ace and NBs as higher than usual. But I figured that's fair, you know? Like, Ace and Tran and NB got a lot higher than they are, so straight got smaller. Exactly. My theory on that was to not make too many characters who weren't straight. But, yeah, I wanted to at least make some of my characters straight because, you know, straight people do exist. I tend to forget that sometimes, but it's a known fact of the world. Straight people do exist. Some of them are even okay, you know? Fewer in the D&D community than any other, you know, community out there, but although I am on one D&D server that is weirdly heteronormative, and it's always kind of like a shock. I'm like, huh, oh yeah. But, not the D&D characters ideas. What's the Discord server? I knew the name. That one is the farthest from heteronormative, but and all the others are very much so not. But yeah, I mean, there's me and a few other NBs on there, but mostly it's pretty chill. It's the Blue Box RPG server. It's actually one of my favorite, here, this. I'll show you this. It's based on Blue Box RPG, which is this really cool. What's the word? A Twitch streamer who I admire greatly, and I don't think I would have started streaming if he hadn't encouraged me. So, you know, and I have the metal cup thing from them, but yeah, I wouldn't have started streaming if not for Blue Box, probably. And but yeah, it is weirdly heteronormative, but you know, here's what it is. I also did get asked my gender today, so that was pretty cool, except the form only had 2 choices, male and female. I'm like, I know it is super cool. I think he had one printed that he did in a giveaway, and I won it, and I was so excited. I mean, I think they could do more. Once you have, like, the pattern, they have a supplier, but, you know, there was only, like, 2 made, and I won one of them in a giveaway, so I have it. I'm super excited about it. So I've been drinking out of it all day. And, yeah, it is pretty cool. But, yeah, oh, yes, so, heteronormative D&D servers, but, it is a much lower percentage in the D&D community of straight people than, you know, the general population. I even got one of our members to take down a vaguely transphobic meme. And I didn't even have to ask him. I was just like, really? And we are just cool like that. But yeah, and then he messaged me and was like, what's the deal with it? I'm like, I was trying to explain how it's not even that transphobic. It was just kind of not funny for trans. And he's like, yeah, I'll take it down. Don't worry about it. I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't even going to ask you that. And I'm just like, I didn't even ask that. But, you know, like, cool. So I'm trying to do better. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. You know, it's a vibe. But, oh, right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because Blue Box is awesome. Okay. But I was trying to create all these characters, Ziel and Harmon, and I could do all of this. So I have to figure out, for this particular, I'm trying to put together a crew. That sounds like I'm trying to make I'm trying to put together, I have this ship, right, and I put together all the stats for the ship, actually. And because I started Janthine and rolling the characters randomly, and so my plan was to put together like a whole crew for this ship that I'm excited about, and well, you know, oh, Millie posted about me. Okay, cool. Evie put a post up about and maybe is watching right now. So that'd be cool. But right. So I was going to do world building, and so we could do Ziel's homeworld. So if Adette's home ship was the one that press ganged. Okay, so notes on. Spurious. Actually, B named it. Our very own matriarchal war criminal named the ship because she was in my chat for a while. And it's Visseria. all my notes. Expiris piranus. So, no. Janthine and Harmon. Same planet, same orphanage. Ran away together. Press ganged by different people. And then so Harmon was press ganged by the ship Odette was serving on. And then when they had their whole thing with the orcs, because that was what, when we had Odette, I'm piecing together this whole expanded universe of, yes, they had run-in with orcs, and then the survivors were picked up by current rogue trader ship. And I still need to figure out the deal with that. Welcome, by the way. I think we might have more people coming in. So, hi, welcome. My name is Lee, they, them today, but he or she is fine. Please say hi in the chat. We got our lovely friend Carno Keys, who is hanging out with me, and we are doing Warhammer 40k world building. I am creating a ship, a rogue trader ship, called the Expiris Paramus. I randomly rolled up several characters, including Harmon and Janthine, who I rolled them randomly, I swear, but and I rolled them on this chart called the Origin Path, and they came up with all of the exact same, up until the very last thing, they came up with pretty much the same thing, and we figured out that it was a 0.4% chance of that happening, which is ridiculous. Yeah, backstory stuff. So, I've been working on this, Janthine and Harmon, right, so Odette was on that ship, and if Xyle was let's see, what's Xyle's deal? Was also press ganged, probably by this, probably to, what was there? Yeah, Xyle was press ganged into the same fight with the orcs. Into the Imperial Guard unit. Who also fought the same orcs. Now they all have, like, interwoven backstory, which is intensively useful. Okay, so far, we still have the entirety of orcs are intensively causing problems. Always. Basically, when I roll up Odette, I think I rolled randomly for the enemy, too. Let me find Odette. Was Voidborn, came as a scavenger. So probably an opportunistic ship who was in itself press ganged by the explorers to provide transport to this area to do the archaeological digs. But Adette's trial and travel was Hand of War, and she got pressed into fighting orcs. Because I think I rolled on a d4 for orcs, Eldar, Chaos Warriors, or pirates, or Void Pirates, and I got orcs. So the boys, screwed him over. And yeah. So that's fun. But that ship needs a name. Alright. Since you're the one in the chat, you can name this one if you want. What do we call a ship, like that's a scrap dealing ship that got pressed by the Adeptus Mechanicus into carrying explorators to archaeological digs that got generally was a piecemeal ship that just did whatever. And yeah, what do you call a ship like that? Yeah, what do you call a ship like that? Because that is the question. And then, of course, that ship was pressed into fighting the orcs, and then so was Xyle, most likely. Oh, so I have to figure out Xyle's home planet. Perkas. I like it. I'll go with it. Alright. That's the Perkas. And then we got now I have to figure out what Xyle's home planet is. It was from a death world, but I don't have any more information than that. Let's see, what was birthright? Let's look at that. Scavenger. So, oh hey, welcome. Yes, the Saturday morning session. That is going to be an epic time. Also, Chrono, you should come as well. At 10 a.m., I believe, is yours, Central Time, so 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I don't know what that is for your time zone. But there's a charity stream. Blue Box, that I mentioned before, is doing a charity stream to, raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And Phantom here, who is super cool, is running that. I'm definitely going to be there. So it's going to be a fun time. But, yeah. I might do a pre-raid, because I said I was going to do a extra bonus raid on bonus stream on Saturday before I remembered that Saturday was going to be... What's the thing? So, my plan then is maybe I'll do Saturday morning like a pre-game for the big charity stream. Gather everyone together, and then kind of hang out and then raid into the Blue Box stream. And of course tomorrow at 11:30, here, let me see, http://www.twitch.tv. I think I put a in the promo Yeah, that's on Saturday. It's going to be a big thing, and then they're going to raid into another charity stream that's for the same charity. They're like doing a whole collaborative effort. But I think I put at least I posted about it on the what's the other one, the promo sharing channel in D&D Character Ideas, because I was you know, I wanted to spread the word about it as much as I could, and I'm on very few forums, so that was one of the ones I could use. But alright. So my plan is I'm gonna put Xyl's Homeworld tomorrow at 11:30. Because I'm gonna have to do. Ooh. Sunday camp. Oh right, you have Thomas, right? Alcott and Chris, who used to be Iman. Yeah. Oh, and Markov, right. No, you have Chandler, not Thomas, right. Both of them very good players. I still have to play catch up on Tuesday's stream. I haven't seen it yet, and that's the one thing about this job, is that it puts me right in the middle of Greg Hawk and Lore Master Arcanum, so I can't make those streams anymore. I can still make the Sunday stream though, so that's fun. And they do post them all on, later. But, I really would like to host a stream on Saturdays. I kind of want to do a stream, not this Saturday, obviously, because this Saturday is frickin', charity stream. But I kind of want to do a regular Saturday stream with, like, a bunch of people on this channel. A Warhammer 40k stream. That would be really cool. I'd have to find people who are willing to, stream, be live on a Twitch stream on Saturdays, but, fun stuff. Just a thought. But that's for another day. Because I wanted to work out. Oh, I have a pool of people. You're one of them, actually, but I haven't actually. I talked to Josh, and he said I was gonna. I know. You gotta have a whole bunch of people. I'm just not good at people, you know what I mean? But what I was gonna do, world building wise, was trying to get Xyl's homeworld figured out. And right, Xyl's homeworld is a death world. Because I have, two of them are from Viseria. Odette is from the Paracus, which is a scrap ship. That got pressed into working for the Adeptus Mechanicus. I could actually, make up a whole... You could do really well in Warhammer 40k. I'm learning that a better way to do it is to kind of slowly introduce the lore. I'm not good at explaining things, so if I get players who've never played Warhammer 40k before, which I might, I'm just going to do it slowly and not lore dump so much. Because there is a lot of lore for Warhammer 40k. I do really like it, though. It's a cool universe to play around in, but, I could start with you guys are rogue traders going to rescue someone for the Inquisition and, leave it at that. And then fill in the rest of the lore later as it comes up. Working for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Fair enough. That's not for a while yet. You know what I mean? Just a thought. I was just kind of pitching it out there as something that would be really cool to do. I mean, I'm running as many games as I am, so that's gonna be a, the whole thing, including a Warhammer 40k game on Saturday mornings, which is probably wouldn't be streamed, but it's a fun game. Yeah, I do tend to be intensive about lore. Hence that I'm doing a whole stream on world building, on making these two characters, setting up this whole system of interconnected ship, setup. I did a whole stream on Viseria, which is a planet that I came up with for. So the whole stream on Viseria. Probably the next stream is going to be Zyle's homeworld is a death world, and I kind of want to figure out what death world, like, I don't want to make it one of the usual death worlds. Like, Catachan is like the obvious one, right? So I don't want to make it Catachan. I want to have a completely new death world, because worlds are fun to invent. You know what I mean? I did Renthok. I had a lot of fun with Renthok. That was a good time. And then sorry. Renthok was a good time. And I created Concordia. That was a really fun one to create. And then I created Gressel, and then I created a bunch of different ones that they all showed up on. And then there's the planet Karsob, and then that was a completely different one for that one grew spinach and stuff. But I just built worlds out of nothing because it was fun to do so. That was my whole thing. So I wanted to build Zyle's homeworld, but okay. It is midnight. I am crashing hard. I have to be at work tomorrow. I'm going to stream before work. And I have to face my boss because I have to talk to him about stuff. So that's going to be fun. But, and I have to get up early to run that campaign. Okay. Oh, so you're in Eastern time as well. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to end the stream, but thanks guys for coming. So tomorrow, 11:30 a.m., I'm going to stream before work. And then, Saturday is the cool charity stream, and then I don't think if I do stream on Sunday, it'll be later in the afternoon, and then, because I have to go all the way to Clifton and do a thing, and it's going to be a fun time, but, Alright. Stuff's happening. Nighty-night.